Once inside, the three of them began to explore the house. The walls were covered in cobwebs, and the furniture was covered in a thick layer of dust. It was a place of mystery and adventure, a place to explore and discover the secrets of the past. They were glad they had followed their instincts and ventured inside. Suddenly, they heard a voice coming from the corner of the room. Startled, they jumped and turned towards the sound. There, in the corner, stood their long-lost friend. He had been searching for them in the fog and had finally found them, this old house. They all smiled, relieved to finally be reunited. The three of them quickly caught up on all that had happened since they had been apart. Their friend had been searching for them for days and had finally stumbled upon the old house. He had heard the creaking noise and decided to investigate. The windows were broken and the floorboards creaked with every step they took. He was relieved to have found them, and they were relieved to have found him. Now that they were all together, they set out on the next leg of their journey. The fog was thick and the sky was dark, but they knew they had to keep going. With their friend by their side, they ventured into the foggy night. As they walked, they could barely make out the path ahead of them, but they trusted each other and kept going. Eventually the fog began to clear and the sky started to lighten. Artillery and the fog began to and the light of the They had made it through the foggy journey. Suddenly, the path opened up to a clearing. In the center of the clearing was a large, abandoned house. The three of them exchanged a look of surprise and curiosity. The air was musty and stale, but they were determined to find out what secrets this house held. They cautiously approached the house, and as they grabbed the rusted door handle, it screeched loudly before suddenly opening. They stepped inside, not knowing what to expect. What they found was something none of them had expected. The inside of the house was surprisingly well kept, with furniture and decorations from decades ago. There was a strange smell in the air, a mix of mustard and something sweet. In the corner of the living room, they saw a figure. It was their long-lost friend, who had been searching for them in the fog. They embraced each other with tears of joy, grateful to have finally found each other. But as they stepped back, the joyous reunion was interrupted by an eerie silence. It was as if the world had gone still. Not even the sound of the night creatures could be heard. They moved from room to room, checking every nook and cranny. They looked around, their eyes wide with fear. They knew something wasn't right. They had no idea what was coming next. The darkness seemed to deepen as the fog began to roll in. It was as if the sky itself was closing in on them. The dark sky was illuminated only by the faint light of the stars, which were now hidden behind the thick blanket of clouds. The three of them began to walk again, their steps slow and heavy. As they continued, they heard a loud creaking noise coming from the distance. They stopped and looked ahead of them, and saw a large, abandoned house at the end of the road. The house seemed to be shrouded in an eerie silence, and the thick mud that surrounded it made it difficult to get close. In the kitchen, they found a few cans of food that had been left behind. Despite their apprehension, the three of them decided to venture inside. As they grabbed the rusted door handle, it screeched loudly before finally opening. Stepping inside, they were met with a musty smell and a chill in the air. A single candle flickered in the corner, casting strange shadows on the walls. The creaking noise they had heard earlier seemed to be coming from the stairs that led to the upper floor. Taking a deep breath, the three of them slowly made their way up the stairs. As they reached the top, they were met with a strange sight. A figure was standing in the corner, shrouded in darkness. They cautiously approached, and to their surprise, it was their long-lost friend. It turned out they were in the right place after all. In the living room, they found old photographs and letters that had been tucked away in the drawers. In the attic, they discovered a dusty old trunk filled with old clothes and trinkets. As they continued their exploration, they began to feel more and more at ease. They were beginning to understand why their friend had been so determined to find this place.